Hello guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to Civilization 5 with the Brave New World expansion. Currently playing as Germany and heading hopefully for a cultural victory. We've got a little bit of a problem because we are on an archipelago style map, which means there isn't an awful lot of landmass to settle on. Got two cities at the moment, struggling for expansion room because we have the Iroquois directly below us. The Japanese are starting to encroach on our territory slightly. We've also got a few units that are down here and stuck behind Iroquois territory because they popped a city here and blocked us from getting back, and currently aren't in a position to open borders to retrieve them. I'm going to need a third city, so I'm working my way towards optics eventually, and the ability to set sail and hopefully find some landmass that hasn't been claimed too much. I was a little bit unsure on the last video why my scouts, who have since been upgraded to archers, managed to get the altitude training perk, and apparently it's because they went within 1 hex of Mount Kilimanjaro. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my units, and I'm going to get all of my units to basically go and tag Kilimanjaro and run backwards in the hope that they'll all get that buff. I've got a feeling that the Iroquois might try and attack on Hamburg, so I am going to be building a few military units here to give us hopefully a bit of a defense if they do try to attack. And we shall see where we go from there. So we have a great profit, which is good because it now means we can start our religion. So let us found a religion. I think we're the first people to have a religion, so it doesn't really matter what we go for, but we will definitely call it Voltology, usually what we go for here. Don't have a lightning strike, which is a shame. It would be an ideal symbol. So first of all, we're going to want a founder belief, so this is something that will benefit ourselves. So let's have a look what we've got to offer. So we could have World Church, 1 extra culture for every 5 followers of this religion in other civilizations. Now, for that to be any use, it does mean that you really have to put the pressure on with this religion and spread it to other cultures, which can be difficult, again, given the type of map. We could also go for extra gold, which would be nice. Extra 2 gold for each city following this religion. It's always worth having gold. It's very useful for rushing units and buildings, and also for buying resources. We are in a situation where we don't have access to many luxury resources, so the ability to buy ones we need for happiness could be very useful. Global happiness for every 8 followers of this religion in non-enemy foreign cities. So 2 gold for each city following the religion, or 1 gold for every 4 followers of the religion. Getting 4 followers of the religion is easier, because you can have followers for a religion in a city that doesn't necessarily have your religion as the main major religion, but still has followers in it nonetheless. So tithe is always a good one to go for. Now the follower belief, which is something that benefits anybody that follows the religion, whether it's foreign or domestic. Temples provide an extra 2 culture in cities with 5 followers. That could be quite useful. I think that's what we're going to go for and have that extra culture. So let's go right ahead and found that religion. Not an awful lot else that we can do on this turn, to be quite honest. I am going to want to put out another couple of defensive units in Hamburg as soon as possible. I'm trying to hold off from creating another worker because I do have a useful worker down here. It's just I'm not in a position to be able to get them back to friendly territory yet, but that will happen. So I've got these guys finally landed up here. They're going to get these ruins. Hopefully it will be something that we can use. 65 gold. Well, I can use 65 gold, I guess. Barbarian camp over there. We may go and check that out. We're getting a little bit close to, I think that's the Aztecs, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, the Inca. So we're getting a little bit close to the Inca. May not be a bad thing. I mean, I did say that it would be nice to sort of expand up here a little bit. There isn't a great amount of food, but if I placed a city up here, we'd be close to Geneva to trade. We'd have access to some silver. Maybe I will try and pop a city up there. It's a little bit risky. There isn't really much point in putting one up here. It will just give us some more salt, but I think we'll need to see how that's going to work out for us over the next few turns. That is our trireme who is currently out exploring the coastlines. So not too bothered about that. So while we've got these warriors here, and we have found the Cerro de Potosi, which is probably the completely wrong pronunciation, so I apologise if I've offended anybody. Output if worked, 10 gold. Shown we can't. That's weird. That's 2 natural wonders we've found so far, and both of those natural wonders are actually in city-state territory. But I'm in no mood for attacking and taking over city-states, even though I could. Terracotta army completed by the Incans, not really bothered about that. Discovered a natural wonder for which means they will like us a little bit more. And we have completed the Parthenon, which comes with a pre-built Great Work of Art in the Great Work of Art slot. And we've got horseback riding. So you now see here on culture, on tourism, we now have 2 tourism per turn, and that is from the Great Work of Art that we got from the Parthenon. So if we actually have a look at this, obviously we haven't discovered everybody else yet, but we're probably going to be in the position now where we are the only people out of everyone we've met that actually has any tourism at all, which is great. First people on the board to have tourism as far as we are aware. So what should we go for in Berlin? Could go for a temple, would give us an extra 2 culture straight off the bat and would only take 4 turns. The wonders, obviously we've got a national college and a national epic. We should probably go for the oracle. We should be able to beat anybody else to it. It will give us an extra 3 culture, and it will give us a great scientist point, which means we will be able to research great scientists more quickly, and we'll get a free social policy for doing that as well. I think Berlin is still on production focus, and indeed it is, so that's going to build that in the quickest time possible. And let's continue with these guys to explore out. I think we'll come across the water next and see what we can find. Archers now do indeed have the altitude training buff, so I'm going to move these guys back to Hamburg. They now have an extra movement, or basically double movement in hills. Now, the thing with moving through hills, normally rough terrain costs you double movement. So moving through jungles, forests, marshes, hills costs double movement. Because you actually now get double movement with altitude training by moving through hills, it basically cancels itself out. The good thing is with my scouts is because scouts actually don't have any hindrance from terrain penalty. Bear in mind these archers were once scouts. They don't actually, they ignore the terrain cost anyway, but then they get double movement through hills. So they actually move quicker if they're moving through hills, which is absolutely brilliant. Okay, Iroquois have started worshipping a pantheon of gods. Well, we'll see if we can put a stop to that later. Hamburg has now finished whatever it was building. We could go for a temple here, but it doesn't have enough followers to be able to give us the culture we need. We also want to concentrate all of our national culture buildings in Berlin as much as we can. Now, I'd like to build the National College here because I think Hamburg is actually going to be my science city as much as possible. But it's a national college, which means I get to build it regardless. So the first thing I'm going to do is build a spearman because I'd like to have more defense just in case the Iroquois decide they are going to try and attack me, which is quite likely because he does like to expand quite aggressively, particularly when he's stuck in a corner like he is at the moment. So now my trireme is being attacked by barbarians, which is not a fun thing, but there's not an awful lot I can do about that right now. We could attack back, or I could continue to scout. I think what I'd like to do is continue to scout, in all honesty. Not too bothered about the barbarians. I could probably win the fight, but I would end up just being completely decimated, and then I'd have to build a new trireme. Got horsemen up here already, which isn't fantastic. So we'd certainly have to clear this camp out before trying to get any settlers up here. Though it is probably well worth trying to put a city somewhere up here, but that is something I will have to give some consideration. I'm going to move these archers down here onto the hill, because that gives me a little bit better vision for any units that might be coming up from the Iroquois. It's amazing how quickly he decided to retreat those warriors. Little border expansion there from Singapore. And instantly we are getting attacked by the horsemen, which is hardly a surprise. Yeah, we definitely did come off worse there, unfortunately. Don't think there's an awful lot we can do about that. I will continue the automated exploration with this trireme. This is one of the good things, is even, as I said in the last video, even though we're limited to moving in these shallow ocean, shallow sort of coastal tiles, because most of the land masses are so close together, we can actually hop from continent to continent. I think what I'm going to do here is I am going to just fortify up, and if they attack me again, then I might possibly be able to out-tank them. So we shall see. So I think what we're going to do here, because we're trying to get a little extra production in an effort to build the Oracle as quickly as we can, and we are production focused, I'm going to move these workers down here to the hill, and I will get them to build a mine, which should give us another 1 production. You guys are going to go on to alert mode, and we're going to go straight into the next turn. Yeah, they do keep popping backwards and forwards with their warriors. Well, they're Mohawks, which are basically an upgraded warrior.
Mathematics.
We've now discovered mathematics, which allows us to build the courthouses if we need to. Very important if we start taking over other cities, which we'll probably avoid doing as much as possible, because it doesn't really help you with the culture victory. Bit pointless doing this, really. 6 turns to construct the mine, and by that time the Oracle should be complete, but it's worth doing anyway. Let's get these upgrades done. Now, we don't have civil service yet either. I need to look into that because I can't remember whereabouts it is on the tech tree. I think it's after currency, isn't it? Yeah, currency and civil service. Then we'll be able to do open borders. If we can do open borders with the Iroquois, that would be fantastic because I'd be able to get those units back. I don't think we can do it yet. No, we can't, unfortunately. So these guys will be able to get the embarkation promotion once they can get into friendly territory, but at the moment they can't. They're kind of stuck, so they're just going to have to wait there for now. Not an awful lot else they can do. Half tempted to build a city down here somewhere. Not sure if it's going to be a good idea, but you know, we do have stone, we do have spices, which would be nice. Maybe putting the city here on the hill, because that would give us access to some forest tiles, it would give us access to marble, it would give us access to deer, stone, and to the spices, as well as giving us a canal so we could move any boats backwards and forwards between these 2 hexes. So I think that's actually quite a good spot for a city. So that might be something to consider. Of course, we've got to get them down there safely, which is going to be the other problem. So, as we can see, we seem to have a few more military units of the Iroquois moving around down here, which I'm not particularly happy about. I'm going to go and run these spearmen over to Kilimanjaro, just so they get the promotion. Why not? Now, Hamburg. What should I build here at Hamburg? It's probably still not worth having a temple yet. We could go for another unit, or we could go for a settler. We're not outputting a great deal of food. We've still got the money, so I think we're going to go for another warrior, just so we've got 3 defensive units down here, and then we'll start building other things. Also, remember, the Iroquois have got a unit that's sort of trapped in this area here, so they're kind of getting squeezed out by my border expansions. They can't pass through here because the mountain's in the way, so he's probably just as willing to open his borders as I am. Okay, so we have now recovered from that attack. We'll consider attacking these guys if we can. Not sure where the horsemen went. Maybe they went down to bother the Incans. Hopefully the Incans are going to deal with them. So the Iroquois are now protecting Ur. I see they have archers up there as well, so we do have to be a little careful about what we do. So I think we might go on the attack here. It's well worth it if we can actually get the barbarian camp cleared out. I just hope they keep their archers well away from me. Nothing else we can really do on this turn, so let's just pop it straight on to next turn. Still at the top of the scoreboard, which I like. And we're losing our grasp on Right, the archers seem to be leaving us alone for the time being. Let's go here, be another stalemate. And then I think on the next turn we will fortify until healed. And if they want to come out and attack us, then fair enough. So, okay, our spearmen now have the altitude training. Let us bring them back into the city. And we're going to put them here somewhere as well, just to try and block any advancement by their army. And our warriors are also almost complete as well. One thing that is a little bit risky about building a city down here on this little strip of land is that if the Iroquois do decide to attack me, it leaves me in a bit of a sticky situation, really. So, okay, we've got a free social policy. And what should we go for? We should probably stick with aesthetics. We could construct monuments, amphitheatres, opera houses, museums and broadcast towers 50% faster would be nice. Or 50% of excess happiness added to the each turn to the amount of culture that may be spent on social policies. I think we're going to go with that for now, because we're not building a lot of monuments and amphitheatres at the moment, because we only have a couple of cities, and we've already built most of the things that we can and need to. Okay, so we get an instant promotion for these guys, and some archers have turned up next to us, so we really have to go for the instant heal, otherwise we're just going to get decimated by the archers and the guys here in the camp. As it stands, we probably are going to lose these guys, but we will do the best we can. I think it is time to pop that settler out. Don't forget the settler will have the embarkation promotion, so we will be able to move him around the edge of the coast and get to where we want to be. I think we're going to go... Well, we could go for the Hanging Gardens. It would give us the extra culture. Also gives us a lot of extra food. Now, I want to avoid growing too quickly, but we can pull people away from other food production hexes if we need to. So we're going to take that. Stay on production focus for the time being. We're going to move these guys over here, and in fact, no, we're not. We're going to go up to here, and we're going to get this salt. We're going to connect that up, and it will give us an extra salt that we can trade with, which would be useful. Don't have any growth in Hamburg, which is fine. It's expected because we are producing a settler. You guys are going to go over here and get altitude training. And that's all we need to do for that turn. Yeah, he's just moving his units backwards and forwards. I don't really know what he's doing with them, but yeah, you're not coming this way, so don't even think about it. No longer friends with her. Not too bad. Getting attacked by their archers, which I fully expected, but not getting attacked by... Okay, we've got currency. Not getting attacked by the warriors. So we can wipe out the barbarians there. And I think we're out of range of their archers, because I'm not sure where their archers are at the moment. Cargo ship was previously trading with Singapore for 9 gold per turn. We could start trading with some of the other city-states, which would give them a little bit of science, but at the same time it would also start to spread some of our religious pressure, as they don't have a religion yet. So it's probably worth doing that, because I don't think there's going to be many barbarians in or around this area. Could be wrong, of course, but I think we should be okay. Unit needs orders. You guys are going to come and stand down here on the gems, which we also need to hook up as soon as possible as well, because that will give us some additional happiness. Although it's not actually in our borders yet. We need one more border expansion in that direction before we can achieve that. Longs for culture. Well, I think I've probably got the best culture output per turn so far, so we'll see how that works. You guys are going to go on to alert. You guys would be a stalemate, so you're going to fortify it until healed. And on to the next turn and hope they don't start spitting out loads of archers. Also remember that if we do take this camp, there is a sort of 67% chance that we will actually get the barbarians as well. So, the Hanging Gardens has been built in the land far away, so unfortunately we've missed out on that. We do have a great engineer, and also Petra has been built by the Incans, which is a shame. Apparently we've got enemies nearby, which is just a bandit boat. That's not going to be too much of a problem for us. Didn't quite take it out. So, what we have here, let's just have a quick look in Berlin and see what we can build. Now, there are a few bits and pieces we can build. Nothing here is a great rush. What I am going to do, first of all, is build... Oh, what should we have? We're going to get the National Epic up first, because that will give us an extra culture per turn. And let's do that while we've already got all of our cities with monuments built in them. Now, there are two things you can do with a Great Engineer, which in this case is Imhotep, so let's just hope he doesn't turn into some sort of mummy. There are two things you can do. You can either hurry production, which will instantly dump 185 production into whatever I'm currently building, or we can actually take them off onto another site and build a manufactory. Now, I was going to move him onto a hill anyway, because what you've got to remember is a hill produces production anyway. Hill produces production. Sounds weird. Okay, so I'm going to move him down onto this hill. We'll set up a manufactory, and then when this tile is worked, we will actually get an awful lot of production from this tile, and that will be fantastic for building future wonders, so we're definitely going to do that. These guys need orders, so we're going to get them to get this salt connected to our network. These guys got moved because the Iroquois borders popped, so we're just going to put them back onto alert. Still got the Japanese down here, not too sure what they are up to. And you guys now have your altitude training promotion. You're going to come back down over here and defend our front lines. Also got to remember these guys over here, of course. Onwards to the next turn. Yeah, you guys can't really do anything. You're kind of in the same situation as me. You've got units that you'd like to get home. I mean, of course, he could just disband the unit. He's paying a maintenance cost every turn, as am I for my units down there. Paying a maintenance cost every turn, but can't actually do anything with them. But it is one of those things. So we could get a free great artist. I'm not even sure if we've got any slots for... we do have 2 slots, apparently. 2 great works... 3 great work slots available. But what do we have? I never remember... Well, there we go. So we've got a slot for great work of art, 2 for writing, and we have the palace, which has a slot for a great work of art. So I think we're going to go for artistic genius, which will give us a great artist. And what we can do with him is we can use him to start a golden age, or we can create a great work. Now, great work creates tourism, so that's what we want to do. We want to increase our tourism. We're going to pop him. We get a great work of art, and now we have 4 tourism per turn. So let's move on to the next turn. Great engineer arrives on the hill, but obviously that's used all his movement, so he can't really do anything on this turn. See what else we have going on. We also need to get another trade route up and running as soon as possible as well, because we are struggling with gold a little. We have barbarians absolutely everywhere, so let's get rid of that boat. There we go. We're going to take our great engineer and we are going to construct a manufactory. Now that manufactory, as it says at the bottom there, will give us +4 production when this tile is worked. And because it's a hill, this tile actually now gives us 6 production when worked. Now, I'm not sure if it's being... Yeah, it is being worked now. So 6 production per turn from that tile is absolutely amazing. So that's a good improvement there. And before I go next turn, just check on the situation up here with these guys. Yeah, they've popped some more warriors out over here, which isn't brilliant. But I am going to keep these guys fortified and see if they attack me or if they move off. Because they might well just move off, which would be absolutely fine. But if I can take the camp out, I will take the camp out. A unit needs orders. Which of these guys have arrived apparently safely. That's another hill. I think I'm actually going to keep them here, and then that blocks off all 3 land tiles for them being able to get units around to me. He keeps coming and having a look. Not entirely sure what he's up to. But I'm keeping my eye on you. Enemy's been spotted near Berlin. Most well-fed people. I'm only second, but that's because I've got my capital city on production focus at the moment, so that is relatively understandable. Let's have a quick look up here and check on the situation. Those guys seem to have moved away, so I think we're going to take this opportunity to not right-click, because apparently we've got the wrong unit selected. What unit do we have selected? We don't want to accidentally move them. You guys. Okay, let's try that again. Let's actually select the unit, and we'll get a minor victory. And then we'll heal up again. Would like to get this camp wiped out. Still not decided whether or not I'm going to settle up here. It will most likely tick the Incans off. But there again, on this type of map, anything you do is going to tick off anybody. Unit needs orders. Warriors, you were supposed to be moving down to here. Thought that's what I told you to do, to be honest. You're going a very strange way about getting there. I think it's because the way because they've got the altitude training, it's the way it calculated that if it moved onto the hill and onto another hill, it would get double movement and therefore it would make it faster, but it didn't really work out, did it? Okay, these guys now get an instant promotion. I think what I'm actually going to give them is, what sort of tile is this? It's snow and encampment, which I think is open terrain. So I'm going to give them shock, and this should be a decisive victory. So this should clear the camp, and it may or may not give us another set of barbarians, and indeed it has, which is fantastic because now I have the flanking bonus against the barbarians over here, which is brilliant. And that also gave us a little bit of money, which was much needed. So, on to the next turn. Incans are in 3rd place at the moment. They look like they're moving up for a close second, so... Okay, these guys are attacking, which is not unexpected. Of course, they did take some damage from that. So I'm going to get these guys to heal up, and I'm going to get these guys to attack. And I might leave them up here and bring up my another settler. That's providing, of course, the Incans don't beat me to it. Hamburg has now produced its settler, so I think what we are going to do is we are going to get our... Ooh, we're going to get... Actually, we're going to get walls, just in case he does attack, because I've got a severe feeling that he may. And I'm going to start getting ready to move my settlers down. You guys can just stay there. Again, not an awful lot that we can do on this turn. Large number of units near my borders. I request that you move them elsewhere to avoid causing undue distress to my citizens. We'll tell him that they're merely passing through. To be fair, they're actually closer to my borders than there are to his, and he's doing exactly the same thing. Declaration of friendship from the Incans. No reason not to take that, actually, so that is quite a good thing. So, what I'm going to do here, I think, is I will move these guys back one. And I will move these guys back one. We've still got the area blocked, but at least it means we're not quite as close to his borders. Hopefully that will calm him down a little bit. Berlin has finished whatever Berlin was doing. I think we should get the temple up and running for the extra +2 culture we're going to get from there. These workers now have the salt hooked up as well. I think the best thing for them to do now is probably to come down here and get this wheat field sorted. So let's have a look and see if we can trade with somebody else now that we have an additional salt. We've got this declaration of friendship now from the Incas. Let's see if we can fortify that a little bit more. They don't really have anything they can give us, sadly. We do have a spare salt, but they have 0 gold in the bank and -4 gold per turn. Now, obviously if you're on a minus amount of gold, let's just come back out there because he can't really do anything for us. If you're on a minus amount of gold per turn, like I am here, then every turn my amount of gold in the bank will decrease. When you get to a point where you have 0 gold, you're bankrupt, and you still have a minus gold per turn, it starts to come off your science. So anyone who has no money and is in negative gold per turn, it's actually hurting their technological advancement speed. So the Incans are going to be in quite a bit of trouble there. Not sure who I'm trading all my salt away to. He has a spare spices. I have a spare salt. Would you like to trade? Yes, he would. Thank you very much. That will give us a little bit extra happiness in the Empire. You guys aren't going to get there in one turn, and we've just run into archers, which I really didn't want to do, but we should be able to take those guys out. May take heavy losses here, but hopefully the archers are going to go for the weakened units there. We'll see what happens. You guys are going to go on to alert. Just hope that my settlers are going to be able to get over there. We're 3 turns away from civil service. We can get open borders. We've also got the Incans down here. I'm not too sure what they're thinking about doing. Now, like I said, you do want to have open borders, or at least you want other civs to have open borders when you start getting tourism later on, because you get much better tourism spread bonuses if other cultures have open borders. Doesn't mean to say I want to open my borders to other cultures, though. That's not always the safest thing to do. So we're going to get a major victory for attacking these guys. We'll probably take a bit of damage, but we should be able to kill them within 2 turns. I don't think they're going to be able to take us out. I don't think they're strong enough. You guys are also going to go on to alert, and off to the next turn. Must remember that we do need to produce another trade route. It's very, very important right now that we actually get some money coming in, because we're just about breaking even. And that's even considering that we have reduced costs to our sort of unit maintenance as well. We have a unit promotion for these guys here. I'm going to give them drill because they're attacking onto a hill. So that gives them plus 40% against barbarians and plus 15% for the type of terrain they're attacking on. They will take some damage, but they should finish off those barbarians nicely. Great. So we'll get them to heal up over the course of the next few turns. I'm going to get my settlers to work their way through here. This will upset Singapore a little bit, but at least it will get them in the water. And we're going to sail down here along the outside, and hopefully... I think what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to take this unit down here and just make sure there aren't any barbarians. And my... yes, this was originally my scout. And this will make sure that I haven't got any barbarians that are going to capture my settlers, which usually happens. And waiting for something to happen. Barbarians are having their turn. Citrus. Civil service is now complete. Medieval era. City-state bonuses have changed, so we get more stuff from city-states. Citrus for salt. Let us see if we can put that back into action, because we're down to 6 happiness now. So he has spare citrus, we have spare salt. He is happy with that. We are back up to 10. -2 gold per turn, which is not fantastic. So let us go for construction. It's only 4 turns, and that would allow us to build lumber mills and the Colosseum of Happiness and composite bowmen, so it would give us a bit more defense. Berlin, we could go for Chichen Itza, and we probably should, because 4 happiness is never to be scoffed at. It increases the length of our golden age, which is in fact fantastic. Because if you look, golden age, when in a golden age, every tile in your empire that produces at least 1 gold will produce 1 extra. Cities gain 20% production, and empire-wide culture is increased by 20%. So by being able to move into a golden age, we get an extra 20% culture increase. And Chichen Itza would mean our golden ages last 50% longer. So that is very, very good. The way you enter a golden age... You have this number here on the right hand side. As you can see, I have 398 out of 500, and 10 per turn is added for excess happiness. So the more excess happiness you have, the more quickly you move into a golden age. So we're definitely going to go for Chichen Itza, and hopefully we will get that. You guys are going to get that wheat hooked up. You guys are just going to sit on the hill and sort of recover some of your strength. And we'll go on to the next turn and see what happens. I really hope we get Chichen Itza, actually. It'd be quite a useful wonder to have for the type of victory that we're aiming for. The enemy has been spotted near Berlin. It's probably that boat that's up there. We can't do an awful lot about it right now, unfortunately. We are going to be going through Singapore again and probably upsetting them a little bit more. Catapults here at Grand River. These guys are now completely stuck. These guys can't actually go anywhere. I'm going to be interested to see what happens if their borders expand to this tile, because it can't really push them in the water because they can't embark. So if their borders expand here, it's either going to put them in this tile or it's going to put them in that tile, which would mean I could get out of that corner, which would be absolutely brilliant, to be honest. So I'm going to go on to the next turn. Looks like we're safe down here. There doesn't appear to be any bandits around. But I'm about to wrap this video up, so we'll just finish our movements on the next turn, and then we will call it there. Geneva wants Voltology. Can't do an awful lot yet until we manage to get ourselves another great profit. We have met Kiev, which is brilliant. We've discovered a barbarian encampment up here, which isn't really problematic to us. I think that's more Japan's problem right now. Accumulated enough faith to purchase a unit or building. We could have a great profit, actually, but I think what we're going to do with the great profit is actually increase our, or enhance our religion so we get more from it. Okay, unit needs orders. You guys are exactly where you want to be. You are going to go on alert. Little bit tricky now because these guys are actually blocked, because these guys are in the way and these guys are in the way. So I'm going to tell them to just camp there for a turn, and hopefully some of these guys will move out of the way. And they indeed have done. Also want to try and get down there before the Iroquois borders expand and stop me from getting down there. So, let's move these guys down as much as I can. And while I think about it, we should now, because I have civil service, we should be able to offer open borders. I'm going to go for mutual open borders. And the reason I'm going to do... Oh, he doesn't want to do it. Okay, well, I want you to open your borders. So, what do you want for it? No, you don't want to open your borders. Okay, this may well end up getting aggressive, because my units now are stuck. I can't do anything with these units. Something should happen once his borders expand, but he's now given me every incentive to want to destroy or capture Grand River. Also, I need to be aware, of course, that he's got these units up here, so he's going to be in the same position that I was in. What are we going to build in Hamburg? It's probably time to get a market up and running, give us some additional gold, because we do seem to be constantly struggling. Now, some people don't like to open borders because the theory is if you open your borders, another civilization could basically march an army into your borders and then declare war on you. You don't have to worry about that, because if somebody is within your borders, even if you have a declaration of friendship or whatever, if you have open borders and they are within your borders, if they declare war on you, they automatically get all of their units bumped outside your borders. So there isn't any way where they can basically mass a load of units around one of your cities and then declare war on you, because all their units will get bumped outside the borders. So you don't have to worry too much about that at all. But that's really all we can do for that term. We're 6 turns away from Chichen Itza being produced, and we are 4 turns away from Berlin actually growing a little in size. Get our market built in Hamburg should give us some additional money. I can't see us having any problems getting these settlers down here and setting up this extra city, but I really do think I'm going to have to do something about Grand River. Like I said before, you really don't want to play too aggressively if you want to get a cultural victory, but he's not leaving me a lot of choice, and I'm on quite a limited patch of land. I can suffer a little bit of a warmonger penalty, and I can still win a cultural victory, so that is probably the way we will go. So you may well end up seeing a little bit of warfare in the next video or two once I've amassed enough units to at least take one of his cities. So thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you're still enjoying the series, and I hope you're learning a little bit from it too, and I will see you next time. So until then, goodbye for now.